Hello, everybody. I hope all are doing well with the current situation. Yes, I am Veena from Department of Chemistry, Government First Grade College, Rajnagar, Hubli. I am here today to cover some of the topics for BSc third semester students. Today, let's start with a new chapter that is photochemistry. Yes, let's start the topic. Generally, the reaction is written in the form that is reactant. This is the reactant molecule. The reactant molecule reacts to form a product. This is a reactant and this is a product. Above this arrow mark, there will be we mention a certain conditions that are required to carry out the reaction. Condition may be like it may be the what type of catalyst or the catalyst that we are going to use. They mention the catalyst that we are going to use. Otherwise, it may be the temperature, what is the temperature that we are going to maintain to carry out the reaction, or it may be the light, that radiations that we are, which type of radiations we are going to use to carry out the reactions. Yes, these are the conditions that we are carry out conditions that we maintain to carry out the reactions. Suppose if the reaction is carried out in the presence of the light radiation. Suppose if the reaction is carried out in the presence of light, then the condition above the arrow mark we are going to indicate it by using a H nu. Nothing but we are going to using a light radiations to carry out the reactions. So generally we can say that if the reaction is carried out and initiated and carried out in the presence of the light radiations, such reactions we are going to call it as a photochemical reactions. They are going to call that as a photochemical reactions. The study of such photochemical reaction is nothing but a photochemistry. Now we can define the photochemistry as a branch of chemistry which deals with the study of the reactions that are initiated and carried out in the presence of light radiations. Such reactions are called as the photochemical reaction, and the study of this reaction is nothing but the photochemistry. See, so now consider this is a ground state and this is a excited state. Now the molecule A or a reactant observes certain radiations. When it observes a radiations, the molecules goes to the excited state. Here it remains for a certain period and it return back to the ground state to form the product. Such type of reaction we are going to call them as a photochemical reaction. The general way of writing this reaction is a molecule observes a radiations and goes to the excited state. This is a excited molecule. The excited molecules then further reacts to form a product. This is the general way of representing the chemical reactions that are carried out in the presence of the light. So I am talking about the light. What is the condition, which type of the light that we are going to, or the wavelength that we are going to use to carry out the reaction? Yes, first the condition that the light radiations or the light or the radiation should be of a range that lie between 2000 angstrom to 8000 angstrom. That is nothing but visible light and UV radiations are usually used for the reaction to carry out the chemical reactions. Generally, in day-to-day life, there is a more. Let's study the examples for the photochemical reactions in our day-to-day life. First example that we are going to study is First example for the photochemical reaction is photosynthesis, that everybody knows. Photosynthesis in plants. What happens in plants? Yes, the carbon dioxide molecule reacts with the water molecule. That is, reacts with the water molecules to form a carbohydrates. We all know that the plants prepare their own food. Yes, they prepare their own food by using a carbon dioxide and a water molecules in the presence of light. They are going to prepare their own food, that is nothing but a carbohydrates, and they release a oxygen. This is one of the example for the photochemical reactions. Another example, that is formation of ozone. That is, oxygen molecules in the presence of the light forms the oxygen atom. This oxygen, one of the oxygen atom, this is excited oxygen atom, reacts with the another oxygen molecule to form a O3, which is nothing but a ozone. Like this way, the ozone layer is formed in the atmosphere. Now next we shall discuss the difference between the photochemical reaction and a thermochemical reaction. Yes. Now we shall discuss on the topic, that is difference between the photochemical reaction and a thermochemical reaction. As I said that the photochemical reaction is nothing but the reaction is carried out in the presence of light, and the next one is thermochemical reaction. You all know that the thermo means nothing but a presence of heat. If the reaction is occurring or a cause due to presence of heat or a concentration of the reactants or the presence of catalyst, if the reaction is carried out by using these conditions, then such reactions we are going to call them as a thermochemical reactions. This is the one of the difference between both, that is photochemical reaction and a thermochemical reactions. And the second one is the photochemical involves the absorption of the light radiation, as I discussed. And the second one here it may be absorption of light or a evolution in a thermochemical reaction there is a involvement of a absorption of a heat or a evolution of a heat. And in a photochemical reaction, the presence of the light is a primary requirement of the reaction to take place. Yes, if you want to carry out the photochemical reaction, the light is must to carry out the reaction. Whereas in a thermochemical reaction, the reaction can take place in the presence of dark as well as light. There is no for yes, to carry out the photochemical reaction there is a necessary of the light, whereas to carry out a reaction that is thermochemical reaction, there is no necessary of light, so the reaction may be also be carried out in a dark. And the third difference is the temperature has a very little effect on the rate of photochemical reaction, whereas in a thermochemical reaction the temperature has a significant effect on the rate of the thermochemical reaction. Next difference is the delta G for the photochemical spontaneous reaction will be maybe a positive or a negative. Delta G for the photochemical spontaneous reaction may be a positive or it may be a negative, whereas for a thermochemical reaction delta G will be always a negative. And for the photochemical activation is highly selective. whereas for the thermochemical activation is not a selective. See, for example, for a photochemical radiation, I said that the radiation should be have should have a range between 2000 angstrom to 8000 angstrom. Between this radiation, if the molecule is observing which type of radiation, we should study that, and only those radiations it is going to absorb, and by using such only those radiations the molecule will get excited, otherwise it will not get excited. So only we'll say that the photochemical activation is highly selective, because the absorbed photon excites a particular atom which become a site for the reaction. Next we shall study with the laws of the photochemistry. Yes, next we shall study laws of the photochemistry. There are two laws for the photochemistry. First one is Grothus Draper's law, and the second law is the Stark-Einstein law of photochemical equivalence. We shall study one by one laws that are dealing with the laws of the photochemistry. Yes, next we shall study the laws one by one. First law, that is Grothus-Draper's law. In 19th century, Grothus and Draper studied the number of photochemical reactions, and they generalized to form a Grothus-Draper's law. Here the laws, according to Grothus-Draper's law, the statement is that it is the only the absorbed light radiations that are effective in producing the chemical reactions. Now consider, suppose this is a system. Here the system is consisting of reactants that has to be carried out to form the product, and the light radiations falls on the system. When the light radiations fall on the system, this system will absorb only certain radiations that are required to carry out the chemical reaction. After observing the some amount of the light, where the remaining light is transmitted or reflected back. Such statement is stated by this law. Only the absorbed component of the radiation is capable of producing the reaction, whereas transmitted light have no effect on the chemical reaction. Next law, that is Stark-Einstein law of photochemical equivalence. Here Stark and Einstein studied the quantitative aspects of photochemical reaction by application of quantum theory of light. Here they noted that the each molecule, means this is considered this molecule as a molecule. Each molecules that is taking part in the chemical reaction observes only a single quantum of light. This is a reactant molecule, means it is a reactant molecule, only one molecule, and this one molecule will observe only a single quantum of light or a single photon of light, and by observing a single photon of light, it goes to the excited state. It goes to the excited state. This excited molecule then further react with the other molecule to form a product. Thus, the basic law for the Stark and Einstein photochemistry law is, in a photochemical reaction, each molecule of the reacting substance observe a single photon of light radiation causing the reaction and is activated to form the product. In the above, consider this as a illustration. In this illustration, here the molecule observes this is a molecule, and it observes radiations and gets to activated, and it goes to the excited state and become activated. This activated molecule then decompose to form a product, that is B product. The above illustration can be represented by using a equation that is reactant A in the presence of light radiations gets activated or goes to the excited molecule. This activated molecule then decomposes to form a product. We can write it as a overall the reaction is written as the reactant A reacts with a light to form a product. This is the generalized way of writing the reaction. The overall photochemical reaction may consist of two reactions. Here it consists of two reactions. Photochemical reactions. Photochemical reactions consists of two reactions. Means nothing but two steps. First step is primary reaction. And the second step is second reaction is a secondary reaction. This comes under the photochemical reaction itself. What do we mean by primary reaction? Primary reaction is nothing but we are going to call this step 1. This one we are going to call it as a primary reaction, where the procedure or the the reaction proceeds by the absorption of the radiation, where the primary reaction is nothing but the proceeds by absorption of light or a radiations, whereas a secondary reaction is nothing but the reactions that are carried out in the presence of are nothing but the thermal reactions which occur subsequent to the primary reaction. They are nothing but a thermal reactions which are occurring after the primary reaction. That is, by observing the light radiation, the reactant goes to the excited state, and there in excited state it undergoes a thermal reactions and they decompose to form a product. Such reactions we are going to call as a secondary reaction. We shall study one of the example to show that the difference between the primary and the secondary reaction. That is hydrogen bromide in presence of light. Here the hydrogen bromide, in the presence of light, it splits the atoms to form hydrogen and a bromide. And this another molecule of hydrogen bromide reacts with this hydrogen atom to form a H2 plus this another goes to the excited state. Now these two, this excited molecule and this excited atom, both excited atom bromide and bromide will combine to form a bromine. Overall the reaction is represented as two molecules of hydrogen bromide in the presence of light radiations form a hydrogen molecule plus bromine. How we can now the reaction, as I said that the reaction, if it is carried out by the absorption of the light radiation, then that reaction is called as the primary reaction. So here the primary reaction is nothing but the first one, that is here the reaction is carried out in presence of light. So we are going to mention this as a primary reaction. Whereas these are subsequent to the primary reaction which are nothing but a thermal reaction. So these are nothing but a secondary reaction. So overall the reaction is mentioned like this way. The primary reaction the primary reaction obeys the photochemical equivalence strictly, whereas the secondary laws, that is secondary reactions, have no concern with the Einstein and the Stark and Einstein's law. As I said, that in a photochemical reaction, each molecule of a reacting substance absorbs a single photon of radiation, causing the reaction and is activated to form the product. Based on this, that is based on the Stark and Einstein's law, they have calculated the energy that is absorbed per mole of the substance. That is calculation of energy absorbed per mole of the substance. How we are going to calculate the energy that is absorbed by the per mole of the substance? We all know that, as I said, according to law, it states that according to that statement, after excitation of the molecule, when the molecule goes to the excited state, the energy of the one molecule of a substance will be equal to the energy of one photon. When the molecule goes to the excited state, the energy of that molecule will be having a equal to the energy of one photon. Based on this, we shall calculate how the energy will be calculated. That is, energy of one molecule. So first we shall take the energy of the photon, calculate the energy of the photon. Energy of one photon equals to h nu. We shall mention the energy of one photon as delta E of photon is nothing but h nu. This is the first equation. We all know that U is denoted by C by lambda, that is H by Hc by lambda. The above equation becomes Hc by lambda. Now we shall calculate the energy of one molecule. Energy of one molecule is equals to energy of one photon. As I said, the energy of one photon is as written in the equation number 2. So it is for a one molecule. We want for a mole. So we shall calculate for a mole. Energy of one mole equals to Avogadro's number into energy of one molecule. As I said, energy of one molecule is equals to energy of one photon. So energy of one photon is nothing but this. This is the value. Substitute that value for this value, that is equation 2, in the energy of one molecule, that is Hc by lambda. This becomes a equation 3. Equation 3 is nothing but and 1 Einstein is 1 Einstein. Therefore, 1 Einstein of light is equals to Avogadro's number, Planck constant, speed of light divided by wavelength. So how you can going to define the 1 Einstein? 1 Einstein is defined as amount of energy that is absorbed per mole of light absorbing substance. Now substitute this Avogadro's number, Planck constant and speed of light in the equation. Therefore, energy equals to what is the Planck constant? 6.023 into 10 raised to 23 per mole into Planck constant is 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 27 earth second into what is the speed of light? 3 into 10 raised to 10 centimeter. 3 into 10 raised to 10 centimeter per second divided by wavelength, that is 6. Now wavelength is taken in centimeter. This centimeter unit get cancelled. Second and this second will get cancel. After calculating, the value is 11.972 divided by wavelength into 10 raised to 7 ergs per mole. Now we have to convert this erg into joules. If you want to convert erg into joules, that is 10 raised to 7 erg is equals to 1 joules. So the value becomes 11.972 divided by the wavelength. Unit becomes joules per mole. Joules per mole. Next one is we have to convert. If we are calculating the energy in terms of calories, then the equation becomes in terms of calories. Know that 1 calorie equals to 4.18 joules. Therefore, if you want to convert the value into a joules to calories, then 1 joules equals to 1 by 4.18 calories. Now, energy of a photon becomes 11.972 divided by lambda, where the joules is nothing but this, as we discussed here, 11.972 divided by lambda. In case of the joules, you are going to substitute the calories, that is 1 divided by 4.18 calories per mole. That is, after calculating, you are going to get 2.86 divided by lambda calories per mole. By this, now the equation shows that by this you are going to conclude that the higher the wavelength, if the higher the wavelength, smaller will be the energy per Einstein. You are going to conclude by the equation, that is if the wavelength is higher, then the energy per Einstein will be smaller. They both are inversely proportional to each other.